Hello and welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast. Thanks once again for joining us today. Now today we've got a huge guest on the show, possibly one of the biggest we've had so far since we started this podcast. He's a former WWE superstar. We're not talking to him too much about his WWE career, mainly about his run on the Indies, both after and before joining Vince McMahon's organization. But if you're a WWE fan, you'll know him as mainly a member of the group Sanity. He was a huge part of their rise to sort of prominence in NXT, a huge part of their family. We're going to be talking to him about his former Sanity teammates who are also back on the Indies now and whether he'd want to team up or face them on the Indies. We're talking to him about his career in WXW, where he's a former champion, and his Progress debut, which is coming up here in the UK in the Atlas tournament in just a week's time. It's all really great stuff. You're going to enjoy it. Please welcome our guest for this week's show, Axel Tischer. Axel, thanks so much for coming on the show. Talk to me about your start to the year. How's it been? We're 4 months in. How's everything going?
It's been great. So I kind of started with the same pace I ended last year. So I've been busy. A lot of shows coming up and even like more shows coming up. And I had the chance to start the January with a couple occasions in the UK as well. So it's been great so far. And April is coming soon. April will be a full month, same as May, June, and July. So
brilliant.
Yeah, can't wait.
Amazing. Well, this is actually going to go out in April, early April, ahead of the Atlas tournament at Progress.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know that you were meant to make your Progress debut, weren't you, back in January?
Yeah.
And that fell through, but now you're coming over again, hopefully.
Yes.
I mean, how much are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward for that a lot because, as you said, it was mentioned that I would debut in January for Progress, but unfortunately, a positive COVID test, which was, I think, is slightly, just positive, but I felt great. So, wasn't having me that opportunity just to debut for Progress. So next day I was negative again, so I could fly home. At least that was me giving, but it was bad, and it bothers me because I was looking forward to make my Progress debut because I moved over 2015 from Germany to the States, never had the chance to work at Progress because I was signed by WWE, and then the opportunity never came up. So now I'm just back in the indie circuit, and Progress is running shows again. And the first show after pandemic, and I was, scheduled for a match, and I was really hyped for that. But again, unfortunately, the COVID test wasn't good for me. So now I'm even looking more forward for April, because April 17th I will make my official Progress debut, and it's the Atlas title tournament. So
I was going to say, is that sort of like almost a bittersweet thing that you couldn't make your debut, but now you're making your debut and it's in this Atlas tournament. They're bringing the Atlas title back. It's a really huge occasion.
Yeah, of course it is. And for me, it's another big company where I can showcase myself, where I have a new proving ground, where I can compete against new faces, So because I've just competed years and years and years in WXW before I got signed WWE, and then when I went on my WWE journey, I just faced some different faces again. So now I'm back. Everything changed around. Some faces are still there. Some people are still there and competing at the same promotions. But again, Progress is a new promotion. I definitely want to put a stamp on that and just make it my new favorite playground, my home turf.
Absolutely, and I know from experiencing talking to fans already that they're really excited to have you over and seeing you at Progress. I mean, you've been over before though, especially in the last few months, like you mentioned at Wrestle Carnival.
Yes.
Talk to me about that experience, because that's a relatively new promotion as well. But I know it's someone who started it, who you know quite well, in Gary Ward as well.
Yes. Shout out to my friend Gary Ward. So I got connected with Gary over.
Yeah.
So, and then I realized, oh, wait a minute, he's also a promoter. So it was easy for me to build a bridge and just to get in talks with him. And then, on one day, he kind of wanted to have a show where he wants to showcase champions. And that day I was WXW Unified World Wrestling Champion. And he asked me if I would love to perform at his show. And the answer is easy for that. So my experience with Wrestling Carnival was very positive. So Gary is a chill dude. He's a very nice guy, very professional as well. And he has the passion for professional wrestling. And even if he's right now on the rocky road with everything, and everything happened with shows at the moment, you have to cancel shows, and right now very rocky road for him at the moment, but he's still thriving forward, and he wants to do some shows. And the show I was on was very good. Like, I was surprised at the product, because that's one thing, just being a part at the show and just enjoying the part of working there, working in front of the audience, but also I like to sit back and watch the product and just see how the product is, and all the other girls and boys who are just attending at the show. And I was very surprised how everybody was kind of familiar with, or how like the people just acknowledged everybody, how familiar they were with the characters, with the talents. It doesn't matter if it's talent X, Y, Z, just coming out with a huge reaction. And then I realized, okay, he did a great job with building up each talent and just give every talent like a bit of credibility that they believed everybody could win a match or everybody could become a champion. It was the Carnival of Champion, where they crowned the new women's and men's world Carnival champion, I guess. And it was very refreshing to see like how not only the British wrestling scene is doing well, but also how wrestling in general, just worldwide, just goes back to normal.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a few things that you picked up on there that I want to ask you about. The first is, of course, us being a sort of British-based podcast, is the British scene. In terms of, like you say, coming over, facing some of the talent, you'll be coming over in April to face some of the talent as well. And in terms of, like you said, watching the product, are there any sort of BritWrest stars that you've got your eye on that you'd like to face, or any up-and-comers that you're like, oh, they're really good, like they're going to make it?
So I'm very keen on Dan Allmark, because I missed the opportunity to work with him at Progress, which sucked because I was studying him a lot before the match just to see who I'm facing. And I love technical wrestling. I love like pure wrestling. I love like really like just mean like wrestling where you can, stretch each other out and everything, where it's just been really like snug and everything. So, and he's kind of like, if you would name one wrestler who's the best example for a British wrestler, probably I would choose him, because his style and the way he works is kind of like a hybrid of the new generation and like the old school world of sports wrestling, and very, very experienced and very talented man. Also, there are a lot of like newer guys and the British wrestling scene. The current Carnival champion as well.
Yeah, Charles Crowley. Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess he calls himself a twat, which is funny, and he's a funny character. But I guess he is a twat. But in the end, I would like to face him, just see what he's made of. Just if he's just all about like joking around and doing stuff, or is he just can go actually.
I think he can do both.
Something against an opponent of my caliber. But otherwise, there's a lot of like, so no offense, but like I see a lot of shows and I think, what are the boys doing in the ring? Because like very young talent. So I'm 35 years old, so probably could be the father, I guess. But no, just joke by the side. But like a lot of like kids in the ring right now. I'm not saying that they're not talented, but it's kind of like you see them and it's like just little skinny boys, and time changed, but they still can go. So that's very interesting. But I believe if you see the heavyweight or like just let's say the heavier weight class, you have a lot of like potential guys like there. And then not speak about like guys who just established themselves over years already, like Chris Ridgway, for example. He's a very interesting opponent as well, but I feel like a lot of like the guys in the British wrestling scene, and even if I just, make a little bit fun of that, they look like boys, they all have the passion for it and they're very talented. So I believe the future is looking bright for like the newcomers and like the up and comers. But also, I think the future is looking bright in general. And also, British wrestling scene is one of the biggest scene in entire Europe. So that's why I'm also very looking forward, like just to come to that market and try to, just score some victories and make a name for myself.
Yeah, for sure, and that's something like you say in terms of coming over here. Because I know, like, you sort of wrestled before you signed for WWE. You wrestled like a handful of matches over here, but you've not been to the UK a huge amount in your career. Is that something that sort of you want to do more of, and also you were sort of maybe disappointed that you didn't have the chance to do before you'd signed for WWE?
If I did have the chance, I'm sorry, I didn't got the question.
Like, you wrestled before you signed for WWE. You wrestled a handful of times over here in the UK, but not a huge amount, not a lot.
Once.
Just the once.
Just
oh, really?
once.
Okay, I thought it was a little more than that. But yeah, okay. So
IPW UK against Dave Mastiff.
Was it?
Rumble.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I thought you'd done a bit more than that, but that was just your one?
No, just once. Yeah, and then the second time was. I mean, I was over in the UK for the WWE tryout, and then I had my in-ring debut in the British wrestling scene before I got signed. But I remember, and that was one of my best experiences as well. I went over on a UK tour with NXT. Actually, we had two tours, but like it was the first one where Sanity was debuting, where Sorry Fold and we had kind of like we got some reps just to establish us as a tag team, and we faced American Alphas and some other talents, and we toured. We had a nice tour though. We just been to Liverpool, and if I remember correctly, Plymouth was one of the gigs as well. But in general, like, it's always great. I love England for like the atmosphere. I love England for the passionate wrestling fans. Just, making a whole venue to a soccer stadium. That's always great. Like, people, they know wrestling, they love wrestling, and you can show them whatever you want as long as you can connect with them. You always have a good to go. Like, and you make them laugh, you're good to go. You make them kind of like feel with you. If you struggle, if you beat somebody down, they feel sorry for him. So the variety of like different kind of like flavors you can present to them, and they take it with with joy, and they give you an awesome atmosphere. A lot of countries are not like this because culture difference. And I always realized that, or just realized, I always remember the UK, and because I realized me working over here that it's I do not take that for granted when you have kind of like audience, they appreciate your work, but it's awesome when you know that, because you have not the struggle of overthinking what could I do just to get a reaction. You just find the way what they're up to for the day, and then you go for it without sacrificing your character, or without sacrificing the way you work or whatever. So it's always fun to be there.
Yeah, awesome. And that's something that I wanted to pick up on as well, in the fact that we won't sort of pick up too much on WWE because we're mainly indie focused here. But something I was curious about was coming back to the indies after leaving WWE. What was that like in terms of readjusting to the schedule of an indie wrestler compared to sort of like that hard-hitting nature of the schedule you get in WWE?
I never had a really hard-hitting schedule in WWE, and it's weird to say that because you hear so many stories about how hard the schedule is. But I believe in, first of all, I was just 1 year with the main roster, where the schedule is more full than on NXT. But second of all, if you love to do it, it does not feel like work, and it's not hard. The only hard thing would be if you do not like flying around and just, get served drinks, or if you do not like to be away from home. I have a wife, I have a kid, so that makes it hard because you want to be home for, spending time with your loved ones. But I love what I'm doing. I love traveling. I love professional wrestling, and that makes it easy for me. And even if you sit on the airport for how many hours, That sucks though, but that's part of the business. That's part of the journey. And adjusting to a hard schedule. So to be honest, like with NXT, that's a super sweet schedule. You just have, if you are booked on television in Orlando, Florida, you come in at Tuesdays. You do whatever you have to do, and then you go home. And then if you're part of the classes and anything in a performance center, and most of the time, if you're part of the television product, you do not have to come in for ring training or anything. Because most of the talents who wrestle on TV are experienced talents. It was like that when I was there, so I do not know if it changed already. But you kind of had an easy schedule. Like when you had like the coconut shows or like the out of state loops, like the live events, yeah, you tour a bit, but again, you travel with a plane, you arrive, you take a group bus, so somebody's driving you around, you check in a hotel, they give you food, they pay for that. So life like this is sweet, especially as a professional wrestler. They drive you from the hotel to the venue, and then there's dinner, and after show there's food on the bus, and everything is a sweet schedule. Of course, you're on the road for 4 days, but hey, that's what you signed up for. That's what you want to do. You want to travel. You want to see different people. And it's not the same in the independent market because you have to arrange a little bit more for yourself.
Sure, yeah.
Still, like the promoter may book you a flight or book you a train or however you travel, but you're a little bit more in charge of yourself. And even like I'm not a big fan of social media. I still have to do it because it's free commercial. WWE, I didn't care because you're WWE employed, so you can, you can F around with social media and just whatever, type down whatever you feel like at the moment. Hey, I just went to the bathroom and point, whatever. But right now, as an independent guy, you have to do it more. And again, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's the necessary free tool you can use to connect with the audience, with your fans, which is nice. But it's more stressful just to be an independent wrestler, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah, no, I can imagine that. Yeah, like you say, having to do more for yourself. Yeah. And something else I wanted to sort of get to in terms of that was leaving WWE. Obviously, you came back to the Indies, you came back to WXW, won the title there, and GWF as well. You're over here as well in the UK. And you've got a great following, and people like on the indie circuit in Europe and the UK like really, really take to you, and they really enjoy seeing you. Leaving WWE, coming out of such a big organisation, were you confident that you'd sort of get those bookings and people would still have that love for you so that they had before you left? Or was there maybe a bit of like apprehension of like, oh, will people still feel the same way about me? Like, will I still get those bookings and those opportunities?
I believe that is always the case. I was sure that I will get bookings for sure because I know I did not left WWE with nothing. I just started in WWE with something. I built up on that, so now I'm back and better than ever. With the way people like just welcomed me back, I did not expect that because I never expect this. Because you never know. Wrestling is kind of like the weather, right? It can change from here to there. So, but it's always nice, like to get the warm welcome from the German fans, especially WXW. I think right now there is something changing a bit because some people were a little bit sour that I came back and just been straight from the point successful. But that's opinion. That's okay with me. I do not do less because of that. I do not care. So it's like the hardcore independent wrestling scene. Oh, he comes from WWE and he's champion right away and he wins everything. Blah blah blah. So a lot of people don't like that. Again, that's an opinion, and I'm totally fine with that because everybody should voice their opinion. Everybody should have a different kind of flavor to everything because otherwise it would be dull, right? So, but for me personally, I wasn't expecting anything. I was kind of like, hey, let's go for it, let's do it, let's see how it works out, and then let's build up on that, or let's figure out which direction I should go and everything. And right now, it's a hell of a run, and it's pure joy.
Yeah, absolutely, and we look forward to seeing the run continue. Let's talk about WXW as well. because there's a few things I want to chat to you about there. First of all, if I'm right, you won the shotgun title as Alexander Wolfe, didn't you, at WXW
Correct.
as well? I want to know, I'm curious about, does it feel different winning the title did it feel different winning the title as a WWE wrestler under the moniker Alexander Wolfe than when you won it as the Axeman, as yourself?
No, not really.
No?
Because Alexander Wolfe was a great name. I was lucky to choose that name. It was not given by WWE. It was given me by WWE with my choosing. And in the end, it's the same. Alexander Wolfe, Axel Tischer, it's the same. Because the Sanity Alexander Wolfe was a little bit different from the Imperium Alexander Wolfe, and the Imperium Alexander Wolfe is kind of the Axel Tischer now with a little bit of the Sanity one, but it's more like in the direction of like more like being, because in Germany wrestling is a serious thing. And I take wrestling very serious. I'm very passionate about it. I love wrestling to death. But I know German fans are not that, let's say, they are not into like too much comedy wrestling.
Sure, yeah.
There are some comedy wrestlers, yeah, but I think German people are more like, let's see a great fight instead of let's do some haha and whatever.
Yeah.
So, and depends who it is. But I'm more kind of like, I want to showcase my athleticism. I want to showcase my abilities, my skills. I want to show them a hard fight where I throw people around, I just kick and punch and whatever, and where I get just clocked by the side and just have to fight back and everything. So, and all the way down, like if you have like the history of German wrestling, right? It's kind of like Japan. It's very serious, and German people are very serious in general, sometimes too serious. But in my opinion, it's kind of like more my way to go. And that's why I believe like the Imperium side, like the Imperium Alexander Wolfe, is closer to the Axel Tischer right now. So that's why it didn't feel any difference. Besides, I still was under contract. And I could not fulfill my obligation as a shotgun champion because WWE said not in Corona times, so which is totally understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. So the in terms of that, the plan would have been, I guess, you would have been able to had COVID not happened, I assume. Like you would have been able to sort of fulfill those obligations and go over a bit more.
Yeah. The plan was just to tour in Germany because I was in that time I was with NXT UK. So it would be easy, and it would be easy to stay in Germany and just do some shows with WXW. And then if NXT UK would just say, hey, we have our tapings right there, I would fly in England and just do tapings. So the plan was there, but again, like with COVID and everything, they pulled everybody who had like obligations with independent wrestling shows and said, no, not right now. Because they had to figure out how to plan the schedule and what are the chances of having shows and et cetera.
No, sure. And talk to me about, again, just WXW as a company, because obviously it's been a huge part of your career, both pre and post WWE. Talk to me about, and like I said to you before we started recording, we had Robert from the Academy come on. That's going out at a later date to this, but we had him talk about the Academy and WXW as a whole. And talk to me about them, the work they do, and how they sort of bring wrestlers through and really sort of raise your game.
So WXW is, for me, also one of my two home promotions in Germany. I started working for WXW in 2009, and then I picked up, like I got like the fixed spot on the card around 2011. And then since then, I just had the chance to build my reputation there and just got some high profile matches there just to, build up my brand and just become a better me, and had the chance to meet with people there and just wrestle with people, and had some seminars there, which changed definitely the course of my wrestling career. Because of WXW, I had a chance to go on Japan tours. Because of WXW, I had a chance to build up, some new friends and just, learned a lot more about the business of professional wrestling. And WXW is the biggest promotion in Germany, if not in Europe. It's a company and, famous for 16 Karat Gold tournament, biggest tournament in Europe, also Tag Team Festival, which is also a very large tournament in Europe. And Yeah, they had a hard time in the pandemic. They had to do 2 years of empty arena matches, and they did great in that. They had like empty arena match tapings where they had the chance just to bring in new talents from different organizations, build them up as WXW talents, just introduce new faces, younger talents, and older talents just never had the exposure. Now just they have, for example, the newest unified world champion, Tristan Archer. So WXW is a very good organized company. Of course, nobody's perfect. No wrestling organization is perfect, but they really work hard on that. They really try just to be as professional as possible, and it's fun to work with them because it's easy. You get briefed, you get contacted very quick, and business with them is super easy. So you do not have to think twice to work for them. And I know a lot of guys here in Germany, their big goal is just to wrestle for WXW, and they give younger talents a platform with academy shows where they give them an opportunity just to show up and prove themselves, which is nice. And also they look around, and a lot of times like WXW brings in some fly-in talents just to put them together with their homegrown talents. This is how I became like better, and how I became like a name in Germany, because I had the chance to fight Davey Richards or Eddie Edwards or Biff Busick or a Chris Hero, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So it's great to be a part of that show. I'm very proud just to be a part of the history, and I'm very happy just to be back at the WXW roster and just can show them what I learned in the States, and can maybe also help evolve the whole product and also evolve newer talents.
Yeah, absolutely. And again with WXW, again winning the title there after coming back from WWE, going back in, winning the title again. I mean, that must have been a great feeling for you as well. The way you talk about the promotion, the way that you feel about WXW, the fact that you call it, like a home company. I mean, that must be just a lovely feeling, and that show of support you get from the crowd there and the promoters, the whole team.
Yeah, definitely. The feeling was great, especially I won the title back in my hometown. So that was, super sweet. In the end, I'm not happy with the title run because I did not have the chance to really just to showcase myself and just to prove that I'm a worthy champion. And also, it was unlucky that, things happened in 16 karat with this 4-way match where I didn't lost the match, but I lost the title, which can happen. So I'm not that much happy with that title run. Also, for me, it was kind of my first title run with WXW was okay, but it was my first one, and I wasn't ready just to be the face of the company. I wasn't ready to represent WXW really in a great way, because it's one thing just to go on the hunt and just win the title, which is super sweet, but the work doesn't stop right there. And, just in a different side, you have to work more hard. You have to be more compatible and competitive and everything. So, and I was looking forward, like, just to be again champion of the company and just represent the company. Now with my abilities, now with all the knowledge I created and just all like the stuff I learned over there from the best of the best, but it didn't went that way, so I'm also not happy. So I'm hoping for the third run. I'm three times as charmed, so we'll see what comes in the future.
I was going to say, does say in your mind a disappointing run make you more hungry to win it again and prove that you can have a better run?
Also, I'm pissed off because of that, so that makes me more dangerous.
Brilliant. Well, the final sort of WWE related question I've got is something in terms of with Sanity. Obviously, as a fan, it's great to have you all back on the indies, but it's obviously tough to know that Nikki is the only one from Sanity that's still with the company.
Yeah.
But that work you did with Eric and with Damo and with Nikki, I personally speaking, I thought Sanity were incredible. Like, it was like a period when I just got back into wrestling, and I came across you guys and I was like mind blown. It was incredible for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, talk to me about those two guys specifically as now also sort of indie wrestlers. Eric working with Impact as well, but more on the indie scene.
Yeah.
In Eric and Damo. Damo obviously a huge Brit Rest star over here. I mean, how much would you like to take on those guys, like head to head, either in WXW or over here, or something like that?
So whenever they feel ready, let's meet in Germany, and then let's see what's still standing now. So actually, this Sunday means the 3rd of April. We'll team
Yes.
up with Eric at OTT
Oh, of
against the
course,
North.
yeah.
Kings of the North?
Mm.
The North?
Yeah, Kings of the North. Yeah.
Kings
Great
of
team.
the
That'll be a
North.
good match.
Yeah. So, and some good old memories will come up for sure. Because EY is the man, and I would love to just a team and travel with him. And the same goes for Big Demo, because I will probably face him at Progress for the Atlas in the Atlas tournament.
Yeah,
he
hopefully in the
announced as
final,
well.
right? That's what we want to see. We want to see it in the final.
Oh, that would be sweet. But hey, bad news for Demo. Probably he will lose that one, because I have plans. No, but it would be awesome. Like just in general, just to meet them again. Maybe to team up with them again, because it's already happening with EY, so let's make it happen with Demo as well. But also just to wrestle against them, because we fought side by side the entire time. We never had the chance to fight against each other. So here's the opportunity for all promoters up there. We all available, and if not, let's see how we bring it together.
Yeah.
So it would be awesome. Like it's good when you especially when you compete against friends. It will get a little bit more uglier than this, so it will be probably fun to watch.
Amazing. Well, Axel, we're just sort of closing out. It's been great talking to you, and we've got one sort of final segment that we do here. It's called Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler. And this is about sort of you. This is more of a shoot. This is about yourself rather than your wrestler character.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw some scenarios out at you, and you let me know what comes up.
Okay.
So the first one is my favorite pre-show meal.
My favorite pre-show meal is an energy drink.
That's all. Keep it simple.
Yeah, just I love energy drinks. I'm addicted to it, and nice. I hate eating right before a show, because then I always have to feel I have to go to the bathroom.
Sure.
And with the energy drink, it's probably I like to drink some stuff, especially energy drinks.
Do you have a go-to
zero carbs, zero sugar, please?
Do you have a go-to brand or something, or a flavor that?
Let's get some commercial in here. Not specifically. I like the rain versions, because they're the amino acids in there, like arginine and everything.
Sure.
Makes you a little bit more pumped. And also, there's a German brand called Effect, which I like.
Nice.
So that's nice as well, but. Again, as long as it's your sugar energy,
give you that hype. Yeah. Well, the next one is the opposite, which is my favorite post-pinfall pig out.
Again, please.
Favorite post-pinfall pig out.
What's that?
Pig out is you're sort of your cheat meal after a show.
Ooh, cheat meal after a show. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Probably something like burgers, like. Vegan burger, everything with vegan junk food stuff. It's always great, fried and whatever. But
nice.
Most of the time, because I follow right now a diet, is probably then just a protein shake and maybe a cucumber.
Oh, that's a bit more boring. We'll stick with the burgers.
Something like KFC, for example, they brought out a vegan chicken grilled chicken burger, or not the grilled chicken burger,
the fried one. Yeah,
fried chicken.
How is that? Is it good?
Very delicious.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I might have to give it a go, because me and my
partner.
partner.
Burger King has this long chicken and plant-based variation, so the vegan variation is also good. I can recommend that as well.
Oh, that's quite good. Yeah, nice. I mean, just in terms of that, whether it's in the UK when you're here, or in Germany mainly, obviously. Do you find that sort of vegan fast food is getting better? Those sort of really dirty
getting
good
better, and that's not a good case. It's probably I have to stay away from that. No, it's getting way better, and especially England is great with that. Germany is okay with it, and America was also great with that. But England was one of the first countries where it did not had gotten a headache with finding something for vegan.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, absolutely. The next one is the song that gets me the most hyped.
Ooh, there's a lot as well, but I'm a huge hardcore fan, and my favorite band is Stick to Your Guns, and my always go-to is Against Them All.
Yeah.
So it's from the LP Diamond. It's the second song of it. The first song, Diamond, is great. It's more like an intro, but the second song, Against Them All, is Like the chorus of it is amazing. The beatdown is amazing, and that's really so. I'm getting goosebumps speaking about it right now. So yeah, stick to your
Nice.
guns against them all.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned Stick to Your Guns. You said they're your favourite band, because that's the next question, is my favourite band of all time. So talk to me about them.
Here's an entire list, right?
Okay,
so
go on.
Stick to Your Guns, Straight from the Path. There's Terror. There's probably the Ghost Inside in there. So then you would have Knocked Loose, Kublai Khan. The last band I saw was Straight from the Path, and recently there's some German hardcore bands as well, like Nasty and Worlds of Concrete. Actually, the former front singer is my neighbor, so
really?
always good to chat with him. But yeah, there's a lot of good bands. The newest band I discovered was Guilt Trip.
I don't know them, no.
No, just listen to it. It's fucking awesome.
I know Straight from the Path. I've seen Straight from the Path.
Now we speak about music. Now start cussing.
Well, I've seen Straight from the Path. I mean, out of the bands you named there, Knocked Loose would be my favourite out of the ones you named there. I like Knocked Loose a lot. They're really good.
Good.
Next one is the movie that I'd show the locker room.
I'm not a big movie guy anymore.
No.
I like Christopher Nolan movies. I would say something to laugh, like something like Borat or whatever, because it has to be, some bollocks, right? Just do not take it serious. Because when it's a serious movie, you want to listen to it, you want to dive into the storyline. But is it something like stupid, something like Borat, where it just make fun of it or whatever? Everybody has a laugh. It's probably the best.
Yeah, you don't need to focus too much. You can just have it on in the background and still enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. The next one is my favorite way to relax.
Probably having nobody around me. Probably driving in the car with my own music setup, listen to a nice podcast, or listen to like chill hip hop, or even some hardcore, depending. But definitely just be for myself. Nice. And I'm a boring person. After a show, it's very rare when I go down to the hotel lobby and have a drink with the boys. I'm not a huge drinker. I'm not straight edge or anything, but at home I don't do anything, because I'm around my kid and I want to be the perfect role model for him. But it's very rare when I go after a show, just have a drink or anything. I'd rather just go to the hotel and be for myself and chill out and just mind myself.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I understand that. I relate a lot to that. Yeah, I get that.
As older you get and married with kids, I think it's quieter as get as well. And it's good because, for me right now, recovery is key. And also recovery means a longer career.
Yeah. And like you say again there, sometimes as well with the schedule you have wrestling a lot, it's, you sometimes just need that time to yourself, that downtime to look after yourself.
Yeah.
For sure. The next one is my first job.
My first job was surfing for the German military.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, how was that? Did you enjoy it? How was the experience?
Loved it. Yeah. I wouldn't do it right now again.
No.
Because you get more mature, you get more educated about some things, and I guess I explained myself very well with that.
Yeah.
But it was great at that time because I finished school, and at school everybody was kind of trying to get interviews to get a job or getting hired in a factory or whatever. And I didn't feel that way because I loved wrestling, and then the only thing, okay, what could I do? What would be awesome, and also where I can make a lot of money at the same time. And I served 2 years in the German army. I learned a lot of stuff, not only shooting, but also building actually stuff and just driving and blah, blah, blah. So it made me kind of a little bit more a man. And then, I was happy with that. And I still have good memories about it. And again, I learned a lot of stuff which I can use right now.
The next one is my greatest fear.
My greatest fear? That's an interesting question. Ooh, my greatest fear. It sounds very manly right now, but I do not fear a lot. But what I fear is, now I have to think about how to say it in English. When you can go forward when you are stacked on one place. Stagnation.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Is that
Yeah,
actually correct?
stagnation works. Yeah. Sort of
Yes.
being stuck in one
So
place, sort of thing.
that's probably the worst for me, and that's minor fear. No, it's nothing like I'm afraid of heights or whatever. At some point, everybody is, I guess. But for me, as a creative person, as a independent person right now, I always want to have the next thought about something, the next idea about something. So right now, I'm about to evolve myself as a character, as a performer. So I already have an idea drawn out, and just bits and pieces and everything. And if that not happen, I would get depressed.
Sure.
That makes sense. So, like not like in a huge mental health issue way, but I would feel kind of like down. And if I would not have this, I would kind of like it's kind of like my pulse, which says, "Hey, do something."
Yeah.
Or just think about different. Even like if I think about doing a match, like ideas, what can I put in and everything. And this is the worst thing when you do not know what's next, and if you don't care, kind of, and if you stay all the time in that, because I feel as an athlete, and especially as a professional wrestler, you should be competitive. You should be, scratching and clawing, and in the best way, without stabbing anybody in the back or just throwing anybody under the bus or anything. But you should be competitive, and this is something where I just really be afraid of, or where I have the fear of, like the stagnation of just not moving forward. And I feel if you don't do that, if you stay all the time at the point, a lot of guys will pass you, and then you will fall back even more, because the line gets longer and you stay behind.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I understand that fully. Yeah, absolutely. A couple of wrestling related ones now. The next one is my favorite wrestling match ever. It can be one you've been in or one you've seen, but
I would say one scene, and this probably is Steve Austin Bret Hart submission match, WrestleMania 13.
Classic.
Because that's the one of the matches always pops in my head, and this is always the number one, because I remember I was a Bret Hart fan, and I also was a Steve Austin fan later. And when I saw the match as a Steve Austin fan, I hated Bret Hart. But when after now as a wrestling fan, now as a professional wrestler, I see like what kind of like masterpiece they created with that, like the atmosphere, the double turn, like even with Ken Shamrock as a special guest referee was the jackedest person probably in the entire venue. So, but like the whole match, the intensity, and like the whole story built to that and everything, and then the moment where Austin passed out, where it just with the Grimm's mask and everything, great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like they say it, don't they? But the double turn is like one of the hardest things to do in wrestling, and you can tell that two wrestlers are good if they can pull that off.
Especially the wrestler who's the technical wrestler is the babyface turns heel, and people like the badass guy who pokes the eye and just is a nasty brawler. So that changed even the entire landscape for WWE. So it's such an historical match, and my probably maybe one of the other questions, who is my favorite wrestler, is Steve Austin. So, and that was one of the key moments where I think, wow, he's great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
he's different.
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. The next one is, of course, obligatory. You've had plenty of great matches in your career, but the next one is, if you've still got one, is my dream match.
Oh, my dream match. That's also. I always get the question, or just get asked, who do you like to wrestle? Right? And I always say the list is long, because it is. There's so many interesting guys out there. I would love to compete. And just name a few, like I had the chance to work with a couple of them, which I admired as a up and comer wrestler, and as a kid. Guys like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. I would love to wrestle against Bryan Danielson, because I think the wrestling style is amazing. He is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Depends who you ask, but if you ask me, like from his like skill set and everything. The way he wrestles is amazing, and I always admired his work at Ring of Honor, and still to this day. Also very, very professional, nice guy. Never had the chance to wrestle him, so you would probably one of the guys on the list. But also, if you see like some of the Japanese folks right now, it's crazy. Like Shinki Chicago, and just one of the evergreens, Okada, everything like. So there is a huge list with that, and it's a different environment as well. If it's promotion like AEW or like New Japan or whatever, so depending. But when I get this question, I always have to reply with, it's actually not the wrestler, it's actually the stage where I would love to perform, like Madison Square Garden or Tokyo Dome. So.
No, sure. Well, I remember actually, like, just on a tangent there, is that I saw a couple of interviews you did, I think last year, where you mentioned about wanting to wrestle in Japan, like go back to Japan.
Yeah.
And obviously, travel restrictions and stuff have been a nightmare for that. But is that something you're still hoping to do, or maybe you've got lined up for like the rest of the year?
For sure. Oh, for sure. Because I love the working style. Again, I'm a restless wrestler, and I would love just to kind of like sprinkle in my kind of style, which I say it's kind of a hybrid style between technical chain wrestling and catch wrestling ish. And would love to lock up with some of the lads over there and just see how far I can go. It's just because if you see, for example, a guy like Zack Sabre Jr., he's such a great, awesome, unique athlete over there. Nobody can wrestle like him. Like Zack is one of a kind.
Yeah.
And he has great success over there, So I would love to work for New Japan, of course, because it's the biggest Japanese wrestling company, but I would not love to go over there and try to be a Zack Sabre 2.0.
Sure.
So, and I think my abilities in the wrestling ring, how I move and how I present myself, could be a total different but very important asset to everything. So I still hope just to get the opportunity just to prove myself over there and show them what I'm capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hope to see that as well. That would be amazing. The final couple, the next one is my favorite place in the world.
Home.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, we get that a bit. Someone said their bed once, like Scotty Rourke over here said that his bed was his favorite place. I was like, I relate to that so much.
Yeah, as well, because no bed is like your own bed, and no place like home, right?
Yeah.
Where you have your own stuff, and you do not have to take care of anything. In a hotel room, it's your hotel room for that night, but it's still borrowed, so you cannot. I mean, a lot of people trash it more than their own home, probably. But not saying that I trash my home, but it's cool, like after a tour, which is awesome. And this is the best like variation what I have, and it's the best safe place, even like mentally for me. When I'm at home, I'm looking forward to go on tour. When I'm at tour, I'm looking forward to go home, and it's also in such a balanced relationship to everything, because it works out, because my wife is amazing and she supports me 110% with that. But it's always for me like that's how I not keep standing on the same ground, and it's home is the best place.
Absolutely. No, couldn't agree more. And the next one, I'm glad you said home actually, because the last one is my favorite holiday destination, my dream holiday destination.
Good question as well. Like, depending, if I would go with my family, it would be something where I know there's something for my kid. There's something where we do not have to be very careful with in which direction we should go, whatever. Because a couple times I traveled with wrestling to, for example, New York, and they told me, hey, do not go 5 blocks towards this side because you're a little bit too pale for this area, or do not do this right there, or whatever. Or if you're in a different culture, like not Western culture, hey, I don't know, just do not behave like this, otherwise you get in trouble. So this is probably nothing I would go on holidays with my family. I think with family, something in the woods, something like where you away from electronic a bit, because I think nowadays we depend a little bit too much on electronic and forget how real life is important
No, I
It,
agree.
it helps us, but also can destroy us.
Mm.
And then if I would go for myself or with like a buddy of mine, it'd probably be more action, more something like, hey, for example, if you go to the States, hey, let's see how Las Vegas is or whatever. Like just to be a little bit more like, fascinating stuff where I do not have to think about, okay, is my kid okay? Is my wife okay? It's just, let a little bit more loose.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like that was the final question on that, but just a tangent that, again, you picked up on there, because you mentioned it earlier with social media, in the fact that, you do it because as a wrestler, you sort of need to do it to, hype your profile. But yeah, we've had a few wrestlers come on who have said, and I agree the same, is like, if you didn't need it for work, you probably wouldn't want to be on it, because it can be, it's that bittersweet thing again, where it's so helpful, but also so harmful as well.
If you, I'm good with it right now, but a lot of people, they do not learn to not tweet or post everything what they have right now in their anti-head.
Yeah.
And that makes it can destroy careers, it can destroy lives, it can create lives, create careers, maybe, I don't know, but it also, like, and we see a lot of times it's super toxic, and like people lose respect to each other with being mean to them, bullying and everything. And that's one of the things why I'm not so keen on social media. And also it's so we can talk right now, we see each other, we hear each other. That's a different part of electronic. But like a lot of times, if you read a tweet, you do not know if it's like mean-headed or like if it's sarcastic or whatever. If you do not use emojis or whatnot. So it can be dangerous, and we see it and we hear it. A lot of people they're being kind of like dicks. So but on the other side, and it's a metal, it always have like two sides of it. On the other side, you can connect with people, you can do great things, you can share stuff with, so it's kind of like depending if you use it as a weapon or if you use it as a tool. It's up to everybody self. But if I have the chance, I would throw my phone right out of the way. My wife, for example, she's off social media completely. She's off messengers. She has a very old phone, one of the old Nokia.
Wow,
where you can play Snake on it. Just because, hey, if you want to reach me, you can call me or you can text me. But
I think that's otherwise a good way,
she's off.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to be. I really do. Well, I've got one final question, and it's sort of like an ambitions for the year sort of thing. If we were having this conversation next year in 2023, and I said, "How was your 2022?" What would constitute a good year for you?
In the best scenario, you have to navigate over a PR team to ask if you can have an interview with me. No, but with all seriousness, that would be great, because that would mean I'm again under a contract, which is definitely a goal of mine. But I believe, like, let's keep it simple, right? In 1 year, if you hear us again, we are the same people, we are healthy, we are happy, positive-minded, everybody around us is great, and everything is great, and we do not have to deal with any bullshit what's going on right now in the world. Everything is fine, and we still can talk about the thing we love, and that is professional wrestling.
Brilliant. A perfect way to end, I think. A perfect way to end. Axel Tischer, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone watching as well, when this goes out. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. It really has.
Thank you very much.
No, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
brilliant. Well, we always end with giving our guest a little bit of promo time. So whether it's over here in BritWres at Progress at the Atlas tournament coming up, or any other time you might be over here, whether it's at WXW or anywhere else in Europe, or possibly if you go over to Japan, anywhere else in the world, why should people be checking out Axel Tischer in 2022?
All right. So let's get all like the social media stuff out of the way. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Even if I do not like social media, I have 2 accounts right there. On Instagram is it's Xman3016 Wolf, and on Twitter is Xman3016. You also can find on each profile a link to my link tree for like merchandise from Pro Wrestling Tees, as a wrestling, which is kind of a Pro Wrestling Tees in Germany, and some other stuff, Cameo, etc., etc., etc. Also, I would love to, check out Krebs. Awesome brand, awesome catch wrestling brand, pro wrestling in general. The guy behind it is Gary Ward. He's an awesome guy. But in general, check out professional wrestling, especially support independent wrestling, support wrestling podcasts, everything. If you are a wrestling fan, just, even if you do not watch it or if you do not listen every time, just follow it, subscribe it, give it a like, whatever, support it, because it's amazing that we have the chance to be connected to each other and just spread positive vibes about the greatest sport in the world. And not speaking about football, I'm speaking about professional wrestling, because it's unique and it's special. And so yeah, and also I'm special as well. I'm unique as well. So I had the chance to perform for WWE, but also I have the chance like to travel the world and just to become myself again in independent wrestling, just to show you what I'm capable of, as I did at WXW and all the other great promotions where I had the honor just to perform. But again, I would love to travel the world more. And hey, any chance some of you guys listening or some of you guys watching, if you are at the show, just meet me at the merch table. Come and say hello, give me comment, say hello, give me a high five, give me a fist bump, whatever, and then have a chat. But in the end, support wrestling, love wrestling, and that's it.
Beautiful, amazing, a brilliant way to end. Axel, thanks so much. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat today.
Awesome, thank you for having me.